Mike, the Eagles throws a curveball. We thought, preseason we've seen some of this. They came out look completely different out there. I felt like I needed to towel down after the first quarter. I woke up with sweat.
Everybody towel off for a moment.
Towel down, a little shower.
Hydrate.
Hydrate. Very fast paced.
Yeah,
they were timing them at 16 seconds. 19 seconds was a long time between plays. Your impressions of what you saw Monday Night Football for the Philadelphia Eagles and Chip Kelly's new brand of football?
On one of the biggest offensive weekends in NFL history. I just saw upstairs there was more passing yards in this weekend than in any other weekend in NFL history. But the Eagles did it, a lot of it on the ground. And they did it. They may have been as impressive as anybody, at least for the first half. 322 yards at halftime and 21 first downs. So you can't just say, well, it's because the Redskins were kicking the ball around. 21 first downs and a half of football. Chip Kelly, he even was hinting to the media that, hey, you haven't seen our offense yet in these exhibition games, and that certainly was the case. And Shady McCoy, if he stays healthy, is going to be a 2,000-yard rusher in this system. This is one of the most perfect matches of a player and a system that you can imagine, and maybe in the history of football.
Bishop McDevitt graduate. We got to see him play in high school.
Absolutely.
A lot of misdirection. He gets to read off of what he wants to do, follow the offensive lineman, or go opposite.
Yeah.
I'm concerned about injuries because he's done a lot of.
That is a concern. That's why I said if he stays healthy.
Yeah.
That's a big if. There's no question.
Speaking of that, Michael Vick, what's the over/under of him staying healthy, and how many games does he play? Because hey, he looked great in this offense. That's the kind of guy that's going to have to run it, which makes me think, why did you draft him, Matt Barkley, who I think is very talented, but I don't see how he fits in what they want to do. You need an athletic quarterback to do what they were doing out there. The quarterback becomes another athlete in this system.
Maybe Chip Kelly has enough stuff in there that he can make it work with a drop back guy. We don't know that. It really is still on uncharted territory here. Even the guys that he had at Oregon, most of the quarterbacks he had at Oregon did not run as much as, I don't think, as Vic did last night. It is the best way to go with Vic and McCoy and their weapons and their offensive line. It's the best way for them to play is for Vic to run. That means he's going to get hit because that's the game. That's football. That's the game they're playing.
It makes me wish they would have got drafted an E.J. Manuel or somebody like that you'd have a backup that in case he gets hurt, you can keep it going.
That makes sense.
Defensively, I was also surprised at how well they played. I liked a lot of the blitzes they ran. Michael Kendricks is going to have a huge year if he stays healthy.
Very good player. And another guy is Trent Cole, who has not done much for a while. I thought he was good last night. I thought he seems to be, maybe figuring it out here a little bit.
Kerry Williams and Fletcher, the cornerbacks, and Boykins played really well. He had these big-name cornerbacks in there before. Not Asamoah. And
Williams in particular had a strong game, at least what I saw.
Cromartie, those guys, big names, big contracts, didn't do anything, and now they bring in these guys, and they looked good. I mean, it's a start. Now, is this offense you still saw Peyton Manning throw for a ton of years, you still saw Aaron Rodgers have good numbers, Drew Brees, with the drop-back guys, but you saw Terrell Pryor the way of this spread offense, is it just opening up new jobs for people, or is this the wave of the future, Mike?
I think it might be the wave of the future because I think football, the fundamental nature of football might be changing here. Maybe I'm reaching a little bit, but I see football becoming, the huddle has almost gone the way of the dinosaur, even in high school football. It's becoming more of a fast, continuous motion game like basketball or soccer. So I think get your best athlete at quarterback because he's just got the ball all the time is part of the future. But I must say, just as a fan aesthetically, and you talked about drop back guys doing it as well as the other guys, the offenses are way ahead of the defenses right now, almost to a fault. It seems too easy to me, just as a fan aesthetically watching the game.
It's almost the video game mentality going on out there, and I'm curious to see what the counterpoint would be for defenses. You mentioned it going down to the high school level. Garden Spot, I watched them play Friday against Ephrata. Spread offense, 2 wide receivers that they put in slants and let them go and do their thing. This is the wave of the future, so it's going to be interesting to see the counter for what defenses do to counter this.
Yep, absolutely.